Thomas Hobbes and Jean-Jacques Rousseau are two philosophers that have greatly influenced Western thought on authority and freedom over the last 400 or so years. Hobbes pointed out in the year 1651, before civilization, we lived in a sort of might makes right situation, where it was all against all, man against nature, and man against man. Anyone that you might meet along the way could be friendly or they could be foe. You wouldn't know if someone you met along the way would kill you for your property. Indeed, it would actually be rational to preemptively attack in a world where uncertainty is so universal. How could anything be built or accomplished under such conditions? Hobbes wrote, "In such condition there is no place for industry, because the fruit thereof is uncertain, and consequently no culture of the earth, no navigation, nor use of the commodities that may be imported by sea, no commodious building, no instruments of moving and removing things as require much force, no knowledge of the face of the earth, no account of time, no arts, no letters, no society, and which is worst of all, continual fear and danger of violent death, and the life of man solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short." Rousseau expanded on this idea with the concept of the general will, the collective will of the citizenry aimed at achieving the common good. He argued that only by obeying laws that we establish for ourselves can we ensure that our collective material needs and interests are met, not just those of a wealthy elite. The state, or what he called the sovereign, must be instituted or constituted by the people themselves. So to summarize, the collective choice to escape the harsh state of nature is called the social contract. In order to individually enjoy the freedoms and the benefits of the natural world, we must collectively agree to certain limitations, laws, and rules to make life relatively peaceful and safe. For example, in order not to experience a tragedy of the commons type situation, in order for somebody to not just fish all the fish, eat all the fish themselves, we must all abide by certain rules or limitations so that everyone can continue to catch a little fish. So long as the sovereign or the state fulfills its side of the contract by enforcing peace, safety, and stability, the people uphold their role as law-abiding individuals. These philosophical ideas were persuasive enough to shape the course of human civilization for centuries. Yet now I see people around me, or in my audience maybe, suddenly condoning or advocating for a return to monarchy because they're into this particular kind of billionaire worship, as if rich people became rich because they can do no wrong. I've noticed that others subscribe to what I call the ANCAP cult, as if we can all just return to the original state of nature by way of rampant capitalism, despite being fallible or elderly and reliant in one way or another on modern medicine and society in general for survival. There is one thing I know. There is no way back to this metaphorical Garden of Eden or paradise by mindlessly following or supporting or condoning the acts of a bunch of billionaire pedophile murderers. And I know there definitely is no way back to paradise without using our hearts and our minds. We all need each other. We all need technology, science, farmers, doctors, teachers, engineers, artists, and pilots to sustain and advance our society in one way or another. We may sail away from land every now and then, but we certainly don't pretend like we have nothing to do with it. Where we were anchored, sometimes the Mayan farmers arrived in town with their pickup truck full of corn. A friendly farmer and his wife gave us more delicious mini bananas than we could eat all in one go. And I shit you not, he asked us if we were worried about US drones striking our boat out at sea. We dried the baby bananas for 3 days out in the sun and the wind, and they became perfect little candy slugs. Our generous fishermen neighbors who catch lobsters as a living came by and dropped off a little extra for us. Our friends just came and dropped off some lobster. Lobster fishermen. The weather forecast showed a strong northerly wind coming soon, so we ran a couple miles south to gain even more shelter behind one of the tiny mangrove islands. And of course, a dolphin family came to welcome us to our new home for a bit. When the rain and the strong winds started to arrive, we were glad that we had made this decision to hide behind the island. We were able to get close enough to it that we could even go fishing during the storm. We encountered many different crocodiles near this island, so it didn't really inspire us to go into the water and swim, or even to walk on the small, muddy beaches to bring Choco for a walk. The mangrove island didn't really have easy access for walking and exploring on solid land, but there were plenty of nooks and crannies to explore by water. We ate plenty of fried fish and onions until we completely ran out of vegetables, and then we knew it was time to move on. One morning, we filled up our diesel day tank in anticipation of traveling against the wind out the pass. Sometimes it's hard to leave a place with good solid holding. I should also mention that in between the works of Hobbes and the works of Rousseau, John Locke came in and wrote about how rulers can only govern with the consent of the people. So pretty much Rousseau and Locke agreed in their respective writings that monarchy pretty much sucks.
Look, 3 weeks later we get a deer house coconut.
They both believed that the choice of ruler should not arbitrarily be left up to God. Locke specified that if the government no longer had the consent of the people, it could justly be overthrown. Locke wrote, "Tyranny is the exercise of power beyond right, which nobody can have right to, and this is making use of the power anyone has in his hands, not for the good of those who are under it, but for his own private, separate advantage. When the governor, however entitled, makes not the law, but his will the rule, and his commands and actions are not directed to the preservation of the properties of his people, but the satisfaction of his own ambition, revenge, covetousness, or any other irregular passion." And as we all have a desire for self-preservation, it makes sense that at some point, removal of tyrants is simply a matter of self-defense. To hit the territorial water line, purple line. We had arrived here at Cozumel to fish some larger fish. We're away.
You wanna pull up the other one for me before it gets crossed? I got this for a second. Whoa! Yeah, tiny. Thank you. Here, come this side. Sit down. Let me put this here. Okay. Real. Oof, he's big. I don't know how. Real. Stop, really.
Real?
No.
All good?
Oh, good. You can open the rod. Oh, I got off. We lost the beast today. We need to get a better gaff. Our gaff failed us today.
And while we might have been the only sailboat, we were not the only ones here for the good fishing.
Coffee.
More reasonable size than this morning. It's a big wahoo, not a small wahoo.